How do wars and pandemics impact birth rates? Imagine a world suddenly thrown into chaos or uncertainty. How does that affect the number of babies being born? Wars and pandemics have real effects on birth rates in the United States, but these effects can change over time and depend on the situation. Let's look at what happens during and after these major events. Birth rate means the number of live babies born per 1,000 people each year. Fertility rate is the average number of children a woman is expected to have in her lifetime. Both are influenced by health, social, and economic factors. When wars or pandemics hit, normal life gets disrupted, and that often leads to fewer pregnancies in the short term. During a crisis like a war or a pandemic, birth rates usually go down quickly. For example, during the 1918 influenza pandemic, birth rates in the United States dropped about 6 to 7 months after the peak of infections. This is because women infected early in pregnancy had higher chances of miscarriage, and many couples felt anxious or uncertain about having children. Similar patterns appeared during other health crises, especially severe ones. World War II caused a temporary dip in birth rates too. Many young men went overseas, and families faced worries about safety and resources. But after the war ended, birth rates soared in what is called the baby boom from 1946 to 1964. This surge surprised many experts at the time. It was likely caused by returning soldiers, better economic conditions, and social changes that made starting families more appealing. After these initial drops, birth rates often bounce back. Sometimes they even go higher than before, as couples who delayed having children catch up. This is called a catch-up effect. For instance, after the 1918 pandemic and World War II, many families had more children once the crisis was over. But in the long run, broader trends like access to birth control, women working outside the home, and changing attitudes about family size have a bigger influence on birth rates than any one event. The recent COVID-19 pandemic shows this pattern too. Many thought lockdowns might cause a baby boom, but the opposite happened. Birth rates in the United States fell in 2020 and 2021. Economic worries and health concerns made many couples postpone having children. The decline was especially noticeable among groups most affected by the pandemic's economic and health impacts. Knowing how wars and pandemics change birth rates helps governments plan for the future. A sudden drop in births can lead to smaller school classes later, and a baby boom can temporarily strain healthcare services. Tracking these changes shows how big events influence family decisions and population growth over time. When talking about birth rates, it's good to know the difference between crude birth rate, which is the number of births per 1,000 people, and the total fertility rate, which is the average number of children a woman has in her life. The replacement fertility rate, about 2.1 children per woman, is what's needed for a population to stay steady without migration. In summary, wars and pandemics tend to cause a quick dip in birth rates, followed by a rebound. The size and length of these changes depend on how severe the crisis is and what's happening socially and economically. While these events can shake things up temporarily, long-term trends in the United States are mainly driven by ongoing social and economic changes.